what are those difficulties?
Technical.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah, that's bad. I couldn't think of that word. We're just getting started.
All right.
Oh wait, now we're in the frame.
Hey, but this is the best
Hey,
way.
you know what? We have no viewers yet, so it doesn't matter.
No, we're good. Are we going on there, Ian? Does it look like the computer says that you're live?
It says live.
It doesn't show on. Maybe it's got to kick on.
It's probably still kicking. Oh, there we go.
Got it? Okay. That's good. Let's have my.
There you go.
All
Does
right.
it look pretty
Oh,
good?
we got one person now on Facebook.
Okay.
All right.
Two. Okay, we're
All
getting
right.
somewhere.
All right.
We're getting somewhere.
Oh, it says, I just got a report that. I just got a report that we're live.
All right. Well,
Hang on, just.
all right. I figured we'd introduce them.
I don't think there's any real formality here. We're off to a great start already.
I feel like I should have one of those.
Hey, try and get 2 cameras set up.
No,
on
we're
the
good.
laptop. All right.
35 minutes. I've been at it all day. Guys.
I was trying to leave that part out.
Yeah. Hey, Larry, he'll give you some credit.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. Hopefully you can see us in Facebook land. I'm
All
pretty
right.
much in Chris's lap here to be in the frame, but what are you gonna do?
All right. Welcome, Facebook. It's Thursday, and you know what that means. Today, I am joined by the 2023 FRC Super Late Model Rookie of the Year, your friend and mine, the big LG Lou Goss. Lou, how you doing, man?
I'm great, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man, and we have a special guest here with us.
Who do we got?
Well, let me just tell you, this guy is the real deal. This guy is the real deal, Jordan Thiel. Jordan, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Happy to have you on the show.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for offering. That was super cool.
You know,
It's,
anyway, I can help out. You know.
Yeah. It just actually means a lot from you. I just wanted to give a quick Jordan Thiel pitch. I don't know if I had this on here, maybe so, but last year we had a early issue with our car early in the year, and Jordan and between Jordan and Joe and Pathfinder, they were enough to let us come get in their way at the track, and we use it as a great time to learn, and it was fun.
We had a good time.
Yeah, we did.
I think a lot of that is probably why I'm here. I got to know you really well, and it was a good time. Hopefully, you learned something productive.
We did. Oh, it was great. It really did. Of course, it helped a ton, and just wanted to tell you how much we appreciate it.
No problem, man. No problem.
Yeah, and if something like that was to happen again, would we be able to, maybe come back?
Well, I think so. Yeah. I don't want to wish
Yeah.
any.
I'm not either.
Let's not push it.
I'm not either. But Jordan, we're gonna get things started off. Everybody, as the driver of the 2T at Wisconsin National Raceway. But for people who aren't familiar with you, how did everything start?
Well, really, I'd have to go. I've been involved in racing pretty much my entire life. I have to go all the way back to when I was 4 years old. My great uncle Wally and great aunt Jan, who were very big into racing, he put me on his lawnmower at 4 years old, and I started driving around the yard. And my mom lost her mind, but he actually bought me a go-kart, a little fun kart with the big tires, and I turned around in the backyard. There was actually like a vacant lot. He cut like a little racetrack in the for me. I was 7, bought me a go-kart to go race competitively, and I ran down at the karting kettle in Elkhart Lakes.
Okay. I was going to ask you where that was. Was it a asphalt or
asphalt.
course or
So, funny side note, I have never once been under, which might change that year, but that's probably another side note. Which I didn't.
No, we can get into that.
I didn't really even on that one, but not too crazy. But anyway, nothing too crazy. Always been on asphalt. Karting kettle in Elkhart Lake when I was a kid. Asphalt road course. Ran there till I don't know, 2 or 3 years I'd say, and then I switched to the Burris Circle Tour, which was still asphalt again. But we ran tracks like Lake Geneva, Rockford, Ilion.
That's really good.
We ran the oval at Road America when it was I don't know.
It was I asked if my son ran a little bit, so I kind of know about that.
Sure.
So it was a open go-kart, and you're running on.
Well, we had
big track.
it had the full body, I guess you call it. I don't know what you call it anymore.
Yeah.
It
But you didn't
didn't
have
have the roll cage, no, but it was just a
Got it.
wide open go-kart.
Okay.
And ran the Burr Circle Tour there, did that for quite a few years. We had quite a few wins, a lot of good times there. And then when I was 14, my dad and I bought a '89 Mustang mini stock, 4-cylinder, ran that at Francis Creek.
Yeah, 141, sure.
Did that for 3 years. That was a lot of fun. I think we got 3 or 4 wins there. And then when I was 17, we started building a super lathe, and it's been like that ever since.
Sweet. Sweet. Yeah, I always thought, back to your 141 story.
I love that place.
Yeah, I still tell people, you know, a lot of people know it as dirt now because it's been
Yep.
there for quite a
Quite a
while.
while, actually.
And
We're old.
I'm like, I raced on it when it was asphalt, you know, and I remember those Mustang mini stocks. I always thought those were really
That
cool.
was tons of fun.
Those things probably flew around there pretty good.
Oh yeah, that was. We were hauling ass. It seemed like, I don't know. I mean, I was 15, 16. I probably, who knows what we were, but it seemed like it.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. But
So you got into this. You're building your super late. It took a year to build that or whatever.
yeah, we took a year to build that, and then we actually started running at WR, and definitely was a jump going from a 4-banger to a super late,
Yeah,
and then going from 141 to IR.
You know, for people who haven't been to 141 or WIR, you talk about being a big jump. What was probably the scariest thing for going?
Well, you know, back when 141 was asphalt, it was a smaller, like quarter-mile type, third-mile, real small, high-banked, tons of fun, carried a lot of momentum there. It was a fun track. Then you go to Kana, and it's a not clothesline, paperclip, half mile, which is long straightaways and just high speed piling into the corner, and it's a big change for a 17-year-old kid.
Yep.
I mean, nowadays there's a lot of 17-year-old kids doing it. Maybe I just wasn't worth my shit. I don't know, but you know, it took us a long time in supers to even really think. We started at WIR, and definitely, and somebody suggested I go out to Plover at Golden Sands and try and learn car control and all that business there. And so we went out there and actually had a ton of fun out there, learned a lot. I was rookie of the year there in 08 or 09. Chris Brooks and I always argue about this because he was also rookie of the year the opposite year. And every time I say the year, he's like, no, that's the year I was. And it's like, well, goddamn it, whatever. I was the other one. Okay. So either way, rookie of the year then, and really just trying to find my way, you know, as we go. And here we are now, kind of operating my own team, and lots of things have changed over the years, and it's been a wild ride, but God damn it, I love racing. Yeah. It's probably worse than a drug addiction. You can't stop.
Now, I do have a question to ask you, though. You have the number 2 on your car now. Was there any influences or anything behind the number?
Definitely. Actually, going back to my great Uncle Wally and great Aunt Jan, her favorite driver was Rusty Wallace. And when I was a kid, my Uncle Wally and I would actually make fun of her for being a Rusty Wallace fan. And then at some point, I don't know if I felt bad or if I had a change of heart, but all of a sudden I was a Rusty fan. And then it just, I mean, probably since like 7, 8 years old, I changed the number on my go-kart, and that was it. 2 ever since.
Cool. What was the number before on the go-kart?
It was 3, but that's just because that's what was on
it. Yeah. That's always a good way to start with.
Whatever it was. Yeah, we'll keep it. We weren't going to buy any vinyl, that's for damn sure.
That's right.
Duct tape numbers and let's go.
Yep. You went, you ran at Golden Sands for a few years. Then, I think you toured some after that, Tundra stuff. You can elaborate on that.
We traveled for quite a while with the Tundra series. Boy, I don't even know how many years. 8 of them, 9 of them, quite a few years. I mean, the Tundra series has been around for maybe a dozen years, I think, in total.
Probably about right.
Something like that. So we were there for most of them. Really enjoyed the traveling series, especially when Tundra first came out. And not that it's not now, but it was the most economical way to travel race and run a series and get to see other tracks and not have to run the big tour, the Midwest tour, and compete with those guys. That traveling was a lot of fun. Still took me forever to get a win, but your first win doesn't come easy or quickly, that's for sure. Right. I guess speaking of that, I mean, it took me over 10 years to get my first super late win. So,
sure.
And where'd you get?
So we got a ways to go, Chris. But go ahead.
And where'd you get your first super late model win?
My first one was at Golden Sands Speedway.
Nice. And the comparison going from WIR to Golden Sands. What's that? For people that never raced at Golden Sands, or I've been there, we've competed there. What's that like racing at Golden Sands? Because there's no wall there.
Right. Yeah. If you go off the edge, you're in the tulies of the dirt, and it gets pretty dirty. But sands is a ton of fun. A lot of throttle control, car control. Doesn't really matter how much horsepower you have or how big of a motor you have. It's more about how you can control it, keeping your momentum up. I had a lot of fun racing there. I won more than one race there at half throttle, because a lot of guys are just buzzing the car coming out, just beating the shit out of it. And you just stay on the bottom and drive right out. But depends on the day. That doesn't always work either. But yeah, Golden Sands is there's really so you can really, especially if you have power, they roast the tires pretty quickly, and it's a small little third mile high bank, so you don't need the horsepower, but you got to try and get it to hook up somehow.
Yep. And one of the things I found out when we went there, you're constantly turning.
Yes, there really is no straightaway.
Yeah.
There really is no straightaway.
In the 1 and 2, and as you're in 2, as you're out of 2, hitting what you think is the backstretch, you're already turning.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I saw when we went there, is you're constantly turning. So I take it as kind of a little fatigue a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep. Thankfully, it's you're not going that fast, but you still are. I mean, and the G-forces are there.
Oh, yeah.
Banking, you could feel it. So yeah, you definitely you got to be in somewhat of shape. Yeah, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we went there this year, that was one of the things I noticed. We brought a big motor there, but a couple of guys had some crate motors, right? And we rolled pretty good in qualifying, and early in runs we would walk pretty good, and then those crate motor cars, I was like, man, it's such a bummer. But I was gonna joke, yeah, you're constantly turning. Yeah, we were turning left and right. That'll
happen.
The back tires were cooked pretty good.
That'll happen.
But we had a ton of fun there. I hadn't been there in a super late. I ran there in a mid-am car a long time ago, but all these tracks we've gone to with the super late, man, it's like a whole different track. It's so fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like the first time we went to the Dells, I'm like, man, all these places are a blast, really, but you haven't been to them in a long time, and your last reference is in a stock
different kind of car. Yeah.
It was fun. So, what do we got? I think we pretty much. Well, no, you can. So yeah, you were done with the traveling stuff, and then
go
ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
You're good. What made you?
Well, I think it's your show.
No.
What made you kind of want to get away from the traveling series?
It was kind of. Let me think here. So much has happened.
Well, yeah.
I think it was more just economics of it all, and trying to run a more consistent program. Run at the same track, kind of get some consistency in that, and as of late, running at WR, staying close to home, just saving the traveling expenses and all that. When you get the wife and kids in tow, it always ends up expenses go up when they're already high in racing as it is.
Yeah. Not to mention just the logistics of moving a family around.
Right. Exactly. Or a whole race team as you're moving around.
Now, one of the things is you mentioned when you're doing traveling, were you running select races at WIR, or were you just sticking strictly to doing
back
Tundra?
then? No, I was just Tundra. Well, at one point I was running Tundra and Golden Sand Speedway. When I was hooked up with Wyatt Brooks, we had Brooks and Thiel operation going for 4 or 5 years there. We were our home base was basically Golden Sand Speedway, and then we were also doing the Tundra series and picking select races, Deachins, Lodi. We pick throughout the year and run those two, but that again was a lot of proximity at that point in time. The race shop was at the Brooks House in Amherst, so pull right down the street, 20 minutes away. And being in central Wisconsin actually offers you a lot of opportunity to travel to other places, because everything is kind of the same distance. Being all the way over here in the east, it's son of a bitch. We gotta go 3 hours to the Dells now, or La Crosse is even worse.
It's kind of funny once you understand middle section between Wausau, Marshfield, Plover, even you could even kind of include La Crosse in there. Even it's all pretty close.
Everything was close. There was half hour or not even 2 minutes. Wausau was 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Marshfield's hour or less. I mean, everything is a couple hours at most. Everything was at least.
So
that's nice.
Right.
Listen, unless you're going out to Illinois or Michigan and running races there. Now, this year you have Pathfinder. You have the under chassis you're running on the car. And I see Joe at the track with you. How did that whole thing, How did that partnership come about?
Well, all of that I've been with Joe through Pathfinder for quite a few years. But essentially, life really just kind of changed everything. Started a business. The time money involved in doing that was astronomical, and I kind of had to down the Brooks and Thiel operation we had going on just so I could focus on myself and get the business up and running, and then also try and figure out if I was going to race, I only have time to worry about one car and myself, and when I'm going to be able to do it. And I kind of talked to Joe and said, you know, I still want to race, but I don't have time. Like, how do we make this happen? And we sat down, and I went from a guy that was in the shop every Tuesday till 10, 11 o'clock at night and driving home an hour and all that stuff to a suitcase driver. Yeah. And it was a very weird change of pace.
I'm glad we could offer you shop night, so we'll expect to
I
see you
appreciate
on
it.
Monday.
Well, you know,
now that we know he's only 19 minutes from our shop, we had to figure that out.
You know, when you say De Pere, it seems like it's going to be a long ass race.
I know.
And then I put it in, I'm like, oh, thank God,
it's almost out of town. So.
Hey, I had to have one less beer tonight because of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, we had to.
So now,
forgot what you said.
Yeah, so that being a lot easier, you just have to show up. Is there just coordinating with Joe? How does that? Is that a lot easier now that you just have to just worry about up and?
It's significantly easier. I mean, of course, it costs a lot more, but yeah, in terms of the time commitment, it works out that Joe takes care of everything and show up at the track and race.
Yeah,
kind of like really good deal, kind of set up like, let's say some of the bigger guys, just.
Well, it's still like it's definitely.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm sure lots of races. It's pretty envious thing. Like you said, there's a.
It has its pros and cons.
Yes. There's a dollar amount thing. I'm sure there's some nights you wish you could just walk out and see the race. I'm just teasing.
You're exactly right,
you about
You're
that.
exactly right.
It
was
It's kind of a mental
weird feeling not going to the shop every week and not turning a wrench on the car. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of pathetic, but I went and helped Jordan Thiel at Slinger Speed for Nationals last year, and I was actually wrenching on the car, and I made a dumb joke, like, this is the most actual work I've done all year, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, son of a bitch, like, that's the truth, like, god damn it.
Hey, don't worry, your secret's safe.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. And everybody else.
Yeah, and they could send questions.
All six viewers.
I think we're up to 7 now.
Oh!
Yeah.
7.
So we're rolling pretty good. So, you get there, and he just tells you, hey, this is what I have the car set at, and you kind of just tell him, and
we go from there. That's another nice thing about running the team track every week is we don't have to worry about changing around and over and all that. We're just showing up every Thursday, and as long as I don't put it in the wall and make a lot of damages to fix, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you had a really good year this year too. No, I mean you won some races. There's some other things, but I mean
it eventually got going.
It came around.
It did. Yeah.
It was definitely.
If you remember, at one point there was 2 destroyed cars.
Yeah. Well, I just remembered there was one because I tried to block that other one.
Yeah. It just the year was not. We ended 2023 on such a high note and kind of had a lot of momentum going into 2024, and I was really mentally into it, and then just the first couple of weeks were actually the opening night I led 31 laps, and then I screwed up in the corner and Maxwell passed us, and I told Joe I'm like 34 out of 35 perfect laps, and I screwed up the one that counted, and that, I mean, I still felt good about everything, I felt good about everything, and then just as the next couple of weeks went on, it just seemed like we were struggling, and Joe and I are trying to put our heads together and figure out what's going on and what can we do to make it better. And then week by week, we weren't really improving anything. And we finally came down to the last couple of weeks, and I actually had another engine sitting on the shelf. And Joe's like, do you want to put the other engine in? And I was hesitant because I really honestly didn't want to pay him to do the work just for the last 2 weeks, because it was like at that point in my mind, I kind of wrote the season off, and I was like, I just don't want to put the thing in the wall and have more problems. Let's just call the year good and be done with it. And then I sat and thought on it overnight. And I said, well, we're either going to be equally as sucky or we're going to get better. So let's just do it and try it. And it was like the whole car came around. We literally changed engines and put a 16th-inch backer in the left front. Yeah. And we went out and contended for the win on the blue race and won the final night. So it was definitely the boost we needed, but it would have been nice if that could have been
Yeah.
like mid-season
Yeah.
or I mean, but all at the end of the day, we're happy and we're looking forward to this upcoming season.
Yeah. So yeah, speaking of this upcoming season, what you got for plans?
So I mean,
You don't have to elaborate on the dirt car thing. But
You know what? We might
I might get into it.
that's Chris's bit. Oh no, you got Woody.
I got
Yeah,
Woody.
you don't
It's
you
a
don't have
modified.
your Bill Baylon shirt on. Tonight.
So we'll be back at WIR again every Thursday night full time. I'm looking forward to that. And then we have also added the Dixieland race to our schedule.
Oh,
so we are
sweet.
gonna run with the big boys.
That's
And
cool.
I'm looking forward to that race. We've been wanting to do it for a couple years now, but I honestly just didn't know if I was ready for it. And the more I think about it, probably never going to be ready
No.
for it or think you're ready for
Go
it.
ahead
So
and do it.
we're putting it on the schedule. We're doing it.
Sweet.
And then on top of that, we're actually also going to run the Alive for 5 races as well at the Dells.
Oh dang.
So
Cool.
that was something we hadn't announced yet. So exclusive.
There it is.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Had you ever done, speaking of Dixieland, obviously you hadn't done the Dixieland, had you done tour races at all?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Actually, I did run the what do they call the truck race? The light or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I ran that
Yeah.
a couple years ago
Yeah.
with I think it was Jerry Wood's truck or the Pathfinder House truck. I'm not entirely sure, but showed up to try and kick some ass and definitely those trucks are very equal.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got experience here. I'm gonna be fine. And I was
Yeah.
running like 6. Like I can't go.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
it. This is
It's like,
it.
this
We're
is all
not.
it's got.
This is it.
Or you got to.
John S. asked, Jordan, how do you feel about trucks? You think Chris should get one?
I know which John that is.
Like a pickup truck
No,
or a
like
Midwest
a
truck?
sport truck.
Oh, a sport truck. Oh
Yeah.
shit. Yes. Drive it.
I would be down. We would just need some. So.
Listen, I drove one of those once, and they are a shit ton
I
of
think
fun.
yeah.
Okay, that's what it's like. But it's a ton of fun.
Now, when you ran the Pathfinder truck, what was that
It
like?
didn't feel like that.
It feel like, I know it didn't feel like that, but how was that compared to driving the Super?
Less tire, less motor. It's really just a lot of momentum and trying to not hurt yourself. Really, it's hard to. I don't know how I'm trying to say that. Can't figure out the words I'm looking for right now.
Well, I don't know if this is gonna help you out, but we helped. I helped Tom G out in 2022. He ran one, and it was just amazing how it's so hard to make passes and gains because everyone's so even.
Yes.
Like it's not a knock on it. It's just a
No, I like that fact,
product of
actually.
the equipment.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would. I mean, you see, I'm gonna plug James Swan here, right? And he's won everything, and he'll start 6th in one of those truck races. And, he'd get up to 3rd or something. It's just tough, It's
Yeah,
just tough.
he's a guy that has the experience,
And he knows exactly
and
what's going on.
that's the thing. When you don't realize the experience you have or other people have until like we were at the mile, and I couldn't believe like I was gaining on him in the straightaway, and I'm like, God, I'm running him over, and then like 5 laps later, he's 6 trucks ahead of me, and I'm like, what the hell? And after the race, and he's talking, I remember this with Arrow, and he's starting, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
That's
like,
actually a thing.
like you don't think about it, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
there's every little bit leg up you can get on the and
Yeah.
ends up meaning something in the
Yeah.
long run. And
Different, heating oil up or cooling the fuel down and
yep,
doing some crazy things on those trucks. This is, these are
different story.
not
Yeah.
quite like that, but for sure. So, we kind of went over some of the accomplishments.
Yeah.
You got your Rookie of the Year.
So I guess I know you had on your list your biggest racing accomplishment.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know if I
No, you-
necessarily have one biggest accomplishment.
Well, it
but-
doesn't have to be an
It could
award
be-
or anything.
Yeah, it
but-
could be like.
Can I talk?
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding. So going back to, it took me 10 years to get my first super late model victory. Well, it's kind of funny. Late Model Digest dubbed me Mr. September back in 2017 or 18 or I don't know when it was. Either way, I had 3 wins in 10 days.
Oh, wow.
We won Friday at Golden Sands, my first super late model win ever. Then the following Friday, we won that night. And then the next day we ran Dell's Tundra, and
That's awesome.
and that was like the craziest 10 days of my life.
That was 3 consecutive races for you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was outrageous. They'll never do that again, of course. But
I mean, it could happen.
wow,
Yeah.
it could, sure. But that was like, and I had a lot of friends and people tell me, the first one is always the hardest one to get. And once you get that, they all just keep falling, which,
Yes.
I mean, you always want more to keep falling, but, we've been able to consistently get one every year, and that means a lot. That's important to me. But getting that first one was huge, and that Tundra win at the Dells was big because I had run Tundra for so long, and I had gotten along with Matt and Drew and Eamon and all the guys that had been running Tundra for all the years. I mean, I was friends with all the guys. Getting that Tundra win was huge. Celebrating with the family and the team was great.
Especially at the Dells.
Yeah, that was fun. We ended up getting a Wisconsin Challenge Series win at Golden Sand Speedway towards the end of the Challenge Series when it was around. That was a big one. Golden Sands was near and dear to my heart, and then getting that Challenge Series win was big. That might have been the big check night.
Oh, the big check night.
We won't talk about that.
We'll go ahead. Maybe we'll cut you one of the big checks. So you can finally have one.
The Wisconsin Challenge Series. I'm not too familiar with the Wisconsin Challenge Series. Was that
It was a big deal. It was a big deal at one time. Lou probably knows more about it than I do.
I remember it. I don't know. I'm willing to learn more about it. Actually,
I don't know a damn thing about it.
Oh,
So I was
okay.
hoping you were gonna chime in.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I know
I was trying to think.
it's a big deal, but I mean,
Yeah, I don't. Was it a traveling series? Do you remember? I guess I'm trying to think.
yeah, it was at multiple tracks.
Was it okay? I'm trying to think if it was like, like I said, I ran Mid-Am cars back in the day. My pops ran Mid-Am trucks in the late '90s, and there was a short time there where they had a Mid-Am late model tour,
Mhm.
and I think it kind of feels like it was like that, like it was like travel a little bit. It was maybe short-lived some, but I got nothing beyond
Actually,
that.
I think the Challenge Series was a pretty big deal throughout
Was
the
it?
'90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
you didn't.
early-
Okay.
I think it was an older series that kind of came back,
Sure.
and then I don't know. It's not going anymore, but
Sure.
maybe
Yep.
it could come back. Who knows?
Yeah, the only reason that's because if it was in the '90s, at the time, I didn't know how big it was.
Well, in the '90s, I was born in '9. I don't know much from the '90s.
All right,
Was that, I guess, quick question, was that Wisconsin Challenge race, was that like a big, like 100 lap, or what was the, do you remember that? Were you getting tired? No, probably not.
I think it was a 100 lapper.
Okay.
It was a 100 lap, but at Sands, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
You can go by quick.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it definitely wasn't more than 100 lapper
Yeah.
because I was not in good shape then. Not that I am now.
Give yourself some credit. Well, the last thing we had on here, Chris wanted to ask, I think it's a cool one. Advice for young drivers or drivers that are
maybe
getting into it,
in your footsteps,
or maybe just the outlook of racing, because it can be, it can be a sport that, really grinds you
It's
to the
tough.
ground.
It's tough. I mean, I don't know if there's any other sport that really adheres to blood, sweat, and tears as much as race cars do.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna get bloody and you're gonna sweat and you're gonna cry over that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any good advice to give. I'm glad there's no kids watching right now.
No.
I mean, I
When I loaded on YouTube, I said not made for kids.
all right,
I think it gets us out of that.
I mean,
Well, I think just having that understanding that that's what it takes.
it's going to be tough. I mean, you're going to get discouraged. You're going to get down on yourself. But probably, and I mean, my dad told this my whole life: just never give up. I mean, just keep trying.
Yeah. I think you find that passion for it.
That's was the next thing I was going to say. Is passion is a big one. Like I mean, even if I did suck even worse than I do, I think I would still keep racing because it's just like I can't not do it. Like, it's
Even the people that Jordan Thiel laps, I mean, loved racing. So we're all good here.
Yeah.
But one time, 2 times.
Yeah.
I mean, well, in that photo,
I wasn't keeping track, Jordan, but thanks.
In the real photo, I thought we were like passing.
Yeah, we were on the same lap. That was.
Oh, we got.
John S. Told you guys to talk about the FRC Kids Club.
Oh, I don't know. I actually don't know a whole lot about the kids club. My kids aren't even technically in it. I don't know. Your girls in it?
Yeah. handles all of that. So
Okay. Cool.
it's a great club.
Yeah. That FRC club.
No, actually, I think we'll be donating a bike this year at
Okay.
one of the nights. But unfortunately, I don't know enough about that. Sorry, John. I suck.
Well, I have just one quick Jordan Thiel story. He probably doesn't even remember.
Boy.
But speaking back to the Tundra race, it was at Norway 3 or 4 years.
Not a good night.
I don't remember what happened. I actually don't remember.
We were in the Thule.
Did you? Okay.
Out of 4. I put there, but nonetheless.
I started because even though they do a full invert, I'm still going to take my front row start, right?
That's right.
And we were on a top 5 for the first 30 laps. Something felt good, and we started what the deal was, and we came off of turn 2, and Jordan was going this way, and I was going that way, and we banged. I mean, we shouldn't say that, but we hit doors so hard, and it hit hub to hub on the car, and you know when you do that, how hard that hits.
Yep.
My arms and everything hit the side. I'm like, what was that?
Sorry, I was coming through.
No, he was. I knew which way you were going, but that was my only Jordan Thiel story up to that point. But I mean, he's been more.
I'm glad you got to hang out my pits then, so we could get a better story.
Yeah, no, it was good. He's been more than gracious to let us hang out with him.
Learn.
Spit seeds all over the ramp.
Listen. There's a lot of people that are gonna understand, like sunflower seeds, shelled peanuts, the color green. There's just some shit you don't bring in the pit. All right, and then after the 3rd week of stepping on sunflower seed shells with my shoe, just.
Oh, yeah, you
know,
came through. You're like, hey, Chris,
get the fucking sunflower seeds out of here.
and I'm just like, hey, no problem, brother. I got no issue with
That's
that.
hilarious.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It took a lot to be that calm.
Yeah, I think you told me to spit them on the track instead.
Anywhere but this fucking square right here.
I think you told me to spit them up on the track, up in the high groove. And I
That's
was like,
hilarious.
all right, I'll do that.
But yeah, it was awesome for you guys to let us come down there, and now you offered to come up here, which is awesome. So we're indebted to Jordan Thiel, and
anything we can do to help grow the sport,
Yeah.
Grow each other programs. I mean, we're all in this for fun at the end of the day, and it's our hobby. It costs way too goddamn much money, but again, we're at it, and we're not going to stop.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
anything I can do to
no, this is great. And we want you to support you. I think you had a list of some spots.
Oh yes. Well, I couldn't do it with Kaukauna. They're our biggest. They're local in Kaukauna, of course. Those guys are huge for us. Mirror Finish, Brett Smith of Appleton, TD Graphics, Bulldog Track Tech, which is now Joe Wood's business.
That's the spin-off of Pathfinder.
Section 715, Dairyland Trading, Selfless Plug Steel Distribution Center. I know I'm forgetting something.
I was trying to figure out
I know I am.
that's the Thiel Distribution Center. Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, I'm gonna cheat.
You can grab it.
No,
I wanted to do that.
It's not.
You were
it's
doing
not
really
professional.
good.
EB Auto. Sorry, I knew there was one on there. Thanks.
Cool. I think. I don't know, Chris.
Do
What
anybody have any questions?
Yeah.
Anything for Jordan? We got anything in there? Or?
Has Facebook Len asked any questions?
How about on Jordan's phone? Can you see anything on Jordan's phone? Yeah, producer Ian back. We do have an audience, by the way.
Yeah, we weren't exciting enough to get the cheer or clap, I guess. Or any booze.
JT ratings, Racing said rude.
Rude.
And then Ashley Miller made laugh out loud faces.
Nice.
Thanks, Ash.
Thanks, Ash. Yeah. Cool. All right.
Well, we came, we saw, we conquered.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us.
It's been halfway regular that we've been doing this, and I hope you had some fun.
I had a blast.
Yeah, I'd love to have you back on. Man.
Sure.
Round of applause for our guest. All right. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. It's been fun.
Definitely, man. Well, with that being said,
Chris?
we're going to conclude this. It's Thursday. You know what that means, and we'll see you next shop night.
Next shot.
Tell me what that means, Chris.
It can be whatever you want.
Can you click it off?
It can be whatever you want, man.
Yeah, end stream, yeah.